Heritage Month is celebrated annually in September. It is a month that reminds South Africans of their rich and diverse cultures. This week, we meet 3 Ndebele artists and authors from Kwa Ndebele in Mpumalanga, whose works show off their heritage. This is the story of Ingwani Creations, and it is edited by Manqoba Nkosi.
In 2017, Ngobile Masuku, Thando Mahlangu and Skumbala Masango teamed up, combining their talents and love for isiNdebele to be champions of their heritage.
In a Heritage Month, it's a platform where they can embrace themselves and do their culture openly and like it and be proud of themselves. As you say, that Ndebele got nice and full colors of the rainbow. It's where all colors combine in any nation. You get it in isiNdebele, and we are proud of it. As an entrepreneur, you have to invest in your culture.
The burst of the Ndebele colors can now be found in clothing items such as t-shirts and shoes. Masuku says it was important for her as a woman to follow the path of her ancestors.
It reminds me of who I am, humanity, and the way we do things. We don't just do. We do it with love, and the more you do it with love, it's the more you connect with people. It's more you connect with everything that you are doing.
Mahlangu explains the significance behind isiNdebele designs.
This design, yes, Holland, it's beautiful, made by Uwini Mtweni, which is Ndebele. She's also using her talent and skill. So in isiNdebele, these colors, they represent happiness, they represent togetherness. You see these things here, sisibiza ngokuthi mabala ngesikhuwa zikho, sisibiza ukuthi mabala, and then all these colors, they represent the kumberse yamandebele. Sibiza ngokuthi sibiza ngonokhethwa. You know, it represents us. As you can see, the rainbow colors, it's all represent happiness. So now the way she has done it, you can tell with this person, when she was doing it, she was extremely happy. Hence she used the bright colors, beautiful colors and all that.
Lamasango and Mahlangu also explained that their attires indicate that as Amasokana, they are now grown men who have gone through initiation and are now assistants to kings and chiefs. Masuku says their business was also negatively affected by COVID-19, which disturbed their plan of building and opening a gallery.
We couldn't even build our gallery because this year we were planning to build our gallery so that we can sell our things and put all things there.
The work of these 3 also extends to writing books. These include a book titled The Pain of a Black Woman, a collection of women's stories affected by gender-based violence, and others aimed at self-empowerment.
Ndebeles, they don't have books. Let's be the first Ndebeles to write motivational books. So then we start writing about ourselves. So while we start writing about ourselves, more things get in, friends want to be in, and then until we have 6 books in our hands.
So the first book, the name is Dumo and Talkless Step, because we realize with young people are complaining, they're not doing anything, you know. Then the second book, it's Know Your Story. That's when we realize anyone can pay you for your own story, you know, so that you can use your experiences to sell something so that you can get paid at the end of the day.
Liabo Setho, SABC News.
Thank you so much to the guys at Ingwani Creations for hosting us yesterday. We went all the way to Kwa Ndebele to tell their story. Do remember that we do have a Facebook page at SME on Point. If you want to chat to us and want to have a say about our featured businesses that we feature every Friday, you're welcome to go to our page and chat to us. Our guest today is on SME on Point is John Sanei. He's a motivational speaker and a knowledge mercenary who travels the globe to uncover lessons needed to uplift communities and to help humanity thrive. Today he chats to us about his latest book, FutureNEXT, Reimagining Our World and Conquering uncertainty. He will also share insight with SMEs on how to swim against the tide at this time. John, thank you so much for joining us on SME on Point. You are a successful author and you're also a motivational speaker, but do tell us about FutureNEXT. What is it about, and how can, or what can SMEs or entrepreneurs learn from this book?
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm also an entrepreneur and I have a couple businesses, so I like to practice and teach the idea about preparation for the future. The first thing I want to talk about before we talk about uncertainty is to realize that this idea of uncertainty is making us exhausted. As human beings, we require the idea of any project that we take on, whether it's a race or a business goal that we have, always has to fit into duration, path, and outcome.
Okay.
And so our brains aren't able to give a duration to how long COVID is going to be around. We don't have and understand the path that we are moving on because things are changing so much. And we definitely don't know the outcome because we don't know when the borders will open, what will happen socio-economically. So we are all really exhausted by a new type of exhaustion, this uncertainty exhaustion. And so this is exactly what we're all feeling at the moment. I don't know, are you feeling a new flavor of exhaustion by any chance?
I'm really pushed. I'm so tired. Now
so
let's talk about, yes, please do explain further, excuse me there.
Sorry, no, it's our brains trying to figure out, when is this going to end? What's it going to look like? What's the outcome going to be? And because we don't have them, we feel exhausted. And this is exactly why my co-author and I wrote the book, Iraj Abedian, who's a very well-known economist. We decided to write a book together to try and help people, number one, with some emotional tools to bring about some calmness in a state of uncertainty. We all know that when emotions go high, intelligence goes down. And so we want to give people a set of tools that can give a calmness to what's going on. The second thing we do in the book is help people reimagine a new socio-economic system that's more fair and more transparent and more abundant for more people. And so obviously Iraj is the economist and he writes quite deeply about the possibility and the imagination of this. And then what we do is we write a guidebook around what does it mean as an entrepreneur to show up in this new world? What does it mean as an employee, employer, a policymaker to show up with new characteristics, new habits and new rituals in a world that's so uncertain? And so we try and get this book to be a tool, a guidebook, and an ability for us to prepare for something that nobody knows what it's going to look like. So
basically a how-to sitting in your shelf that you can reach out when you're feeling down, when you're feeling uncertain. But I do want to get your views. You know, as small businesses, they're now experiencing a lot of load shedding on top of the COVID-19 pandemic. What kind of words of encouragement would they get out of this book or from your experience?
Look, I think we've got load shedding, we've got COVID, we've got, on a further note, we've got climate change, we have xenophobia, we have so many things that are coming at us right now, and I think it's difficult for everybody. But one of the things we break down in the book is, look, we're never going back to a linear world. We're never going back to a complicated world. We're moving into a complex world, and there's a massive difference. You see, throughout the last 150 years, we've become used to the Industrial Revolution. And the Industrial Revolution was very much based on this linear way of doing business, the supply and demand business model. This was a complicated world. And a complicated world is a world with intricate patterns that are able to be repeated. And so you can use mathematics, Excel, and accounting to work yourself out of those situations. But the world we're moving into is not complicated, but complex. And complex is very, very different. Complex is a world with intricate patterns that don't repeat themselves. So you can't prepare like you used to prepare in the old world. And so the best example I can give you is when you walk onto a plane. When you walk onto a plane, you put your luggage into a conveyor belt that takes your luggage into the plane that you're getting onto. That's a very, very complicated process, utilizing automation and mathematics, almost no human interaction, and your suitcase gets onto the plane with hyper efficiency at its goal. But once you get onto the plane, now we are in a complex world. In other words, we don't know what's going to happen to us when we're flying. So what happens is the plane has 4 engines when one is enough.
Yeah.
Has 4 pilots when one is enough. Has 3 operating systems when one is enough. So in other words, what we do in this new world is we prepare for all problems, all challenges. And in the world that you can't be certain of anything, the only thing you can be certain of is your behavior, and your behavior should be helping to express your services and your products as widely as possible, because you have no idea what's coming.
Yeah.
So the example I use, and maybe this is good for some SMEs, and my mom owns a guest house, and I was telling her the same thing. I said, look, the bakery that was open on the corner is now taking a lot of strain because it was only focused on the bakery.
Yes.
Imagine that bakery had a YouTube channel. And imagine that bakery had a course on Udemy teaching people how to bake.
To make bread,
imagine that bakery had a range of products to sell and ship to people if they wanted to bake at home, like a ready-made baking kit. Now what happens is that if COVID happens, the bakery doesn't work, it's shut down, but you've got money coming in from YouTube, you've got money coming in from your courses, you've got money coming in from your baking packs that you're selling.
Basically, to diverse your offering, John, basically to not look at one thing that will be your income stream, but try to diversify all your offerings and see what else can bring you money at a time when money is quite scarce. John, I could spend the whole day with you, listening to you, but I'm afraid that's all we have time for this week. And thank you so much for joining us on SME On Point. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
That was John Sanei, and you can find his work on www.johnsanei.com. He's a motivational speaker and also an author and also a business coach if you do need one. That is all from SME On Point. After the break, Tash brings you Books on Point, and she's talking all about rugby.